Hello everyone, Charlie Stecker here in behalf of Charlie's Angel and the International Child Abuse Prevention Task Force. This is the third part in a 30-part series I'm putting together this month during Child Abuse Prevention and Awareness Month. It's great that we have this month and the availability of it, but I charge each and every one of us that each and every day and moment of our lives should be child abuse prevention moments, days, but it is good that we have a month that's actually designated fully and completely for this purpose. So I'm going to get right into what I have to say. Like I said, we're not focusing on my past or whatever, be it what it is. I'm focusing this month, I've chosen to focus on sharing and speaking about proactive ways of ending child abuse. Now I'm going to be reading from something, and I hope I can make this work without looking too obvious that I'm reading, but just being honest with you that I am going to be reading. So here we go. I found this and I wanted to share it with folks. And this, it says, Children's Services and the Children's Aid Society are the reactive, temporary solution to the abuse of children in North America. I'm going to add my own thing, saying not only just in North America but around the world. What good is it to finally remove an indelibly emotionally scarred child from a chaotic environment, only to shuffle that child off into the foster care system, or worse, return the child to the same abusive environment? That happens more often than you might think. Why? Child abusers have rights, and a long history of them too. No kidding, they have legal rights that are quite powerful. When the abuser appears in court after completing a rehabilitation program, presents evidence from therapists that he or she is no longer a danger to children, then that person returns home, and the child is often returned not long after. The return of victims to dysfunctional households is also due to a shortage of foster homes. It's a sad irony that many foster homes are no answer to the original home, which is the worst of two evils. In an article called The History of Child Abuse by Lloyd DeMause, he describes the abuse and neglect of children from a psychological viewpoint. He states, using children as what I have termed poison containers, receptacles into which adults project disowned parts of their psyches, so that they control these feelings in another body without danger to themselves. In good parenting, the child uses the caretaker as a poison container, much as it earlier used the mother's placenta as a poison container for cleansing its polluted blood. A good mother reacts with calming actions to the cries of the baby and helps it detoxify its dangerous emotions. But when an immature mother's baby cries, she cannot stand the screaming and strikes out at the child. As one battering mother put it, I have never felt loved all my life. When the baby was born, I thought he would love me. When he cried, it meant he didn't love me, so I hid him. There is another, perhaps more powerful explanation for this ongoing societal problem: politics. Politics are not about the protection of children or families. They are about money-making commercial enterprise, international relations, and wars, and on and on. But politicians easily turn a blind eye towards this intimate social issue. To be sure, socio-political change is incredibly slow. It takes time, years usually, and sometimes decades to draft and rewrite bills, eventually enacting them as laws. Even then, certain laws are not adhered to, for at least a generation, since law enforcers aren't trained to make them a priority. As a result, the laws that are currently in place deal with abuse in a reactive rather than a proactive manner. In other words, first the abuse is established and proven. Then Child Services steps in to try to undo that damage and offer tenuous protection at best. The manner in which society should work is to enact stricter laws, thereby propagating social norms that discourage and generally prevent child abuse from happening in the first place. It's not a perfect solution, of course. The concept is far from 100% reliable, but certainly it is worthy of consideration. A lack of physical and emotional support from family and others in the community accounts for a significant number of child abuse cases. Consider a new young single mother, left alone with her crying infant all day. If she is estranged from her family, or her family is not interested or unable in offering her physical relief from her child, her frustration and distress is bound to increase. With that squalling child always present, who is she likely to lash out at? Many of these young mothers do not want to harm their babies. They're as horrified as those of us reading about their crimes after the fact. But a lack of assistance and emotional support can directly result in child abuse. Just remember, shaken baby. How sad that is, the shaken baby. And why they call it a syndrome? I mean, it's abuse. It almost makes it sound like a disease to me. Proactive prevention sounds like a monumental task, and it is. I don't profess to have all the answers, and the suggestions I've listed are simply that, suggestions. I realize a number of them may not be realistic, and I don't have the complete answer as to how to put these ideas into place, but hey, it's an effort to start people thinking at least. Incidentally, when we consider government reform, don't even think about being progressively conservative in Canada or Republican in America. They're all about big business and nothing else. You'll never win their support in proactive prevention of child abuse or law reformation. Excuse me. So my first idea, I'm thinking how about a mandatory parenting classes? Something where mothers and fathers who or actually before they become mothers and fathers, they have mandatory parenting classes. I mean, we have classes during high school. I mean, unfortunately, with our very open sexuality and the way things are these days, our elementary school kids are exposed to much more of a sexual openness than we were. With that being said, I think there's a responsibility that goes with that to prepare these children and they are children that are getting involved in what adults should be doing, prepare them for the possibilities of parenthood based upon what they're doing. Now, I'm a strong proponent for abstinence. I really don't support the handing out of condoms in schools. I don't support I don't support the teach them, I support safe sex, but I don't think that we need to push it as hard as we are on our children. I think we should just be teaching them more on the fact of saving themselves for the right time and the right moment with the right person, so that they would have a committed, good, permanent relationship that then would bring in children to an environment where children should be. That's my opinion. Now, the world the way it is, we see it, and we have to make a change now for the way things are. So let's focus on that for a moment. So a class in our high schools, and maybe even starting off in grade school, unfortunately, like I said, because our children are starting so young to be sexually active. Teaching, abuse and its effects, and what it can do, and what it will do if it permeates itself. And this may even help children that are going through abusive situations at home be able to come out and talk about it in their classroom settings. In addition to that, I think that when we have a mother or a mother and father, parents, find out they're preparing to have a child, that they have to go to some sort of parenting classes. Like when you're getting ready to get married, you're supposed to go to marital classes and all that. Well, let's get them to some parenting classes. Let's see what kind of do psychological profile, get a feel for where they're at, what they may or may not do, and areas where they're strong and areas where they're weak. And let's bolster up the weak areas as a parent, so that way they can be the best parent they can be for their child, which is then in turn could thwart abuses. And Lord knows that's what this is all about. All this is about is being proactive in stopping abuse before it starts. So I think that's going to be my first idea I put out there, that we expectant parents or schools prior to children becoming sexually active and becoming parents have courses set up that the effects of child abuse and how it can and will affect your life if you allow it to happen, and alternatives to handling stress, handling the daily stresses of life that are positive in nature, proactive, and are able to release whatever it is that causes us to, at times, snap out. And unfortunately, sometimes that snapping out ends up on the very ones we love, and the most unfortunate is a little child who's totally defenseless and helpless and just there wanting us to love and protect and provide for them. So there you have it. My first idea. It's out there. Open up for conversation. Feel free to leave a message, either Facebook, here on YouTube, or by calling me at 215-626-6260. That's 215-626-6260. Or drop a line at charliesangel@gmail.com. That's Charlies, CHAHLIES .angel, ANGEL, @gmail.com. I look forward to hearing from you. I look forward to making this next video tomorrow. And each day going on a different concept and a different idea of how I think we, as an international people, being responsible for our children all over the world, can do things proactively that can and will end child abuse. Thank you very much, and I look forward to the rest of these videos and everyone sharing their input. Please, your input is necessary. My way isn't the right way. My way is just one idea. Let's bring it together. Let's do this. Let's be excited that we're going to be able to end child abuse with proactive approaches. Child abusers, I'm coming to see you because I believe there's a portion of you that can be helped if we're willing to take the time to devote it to you, and you're willing to take the time to love your children that I do believe you love, but you need to learn different ways of handling the stressors that cause you to abuse. Thank you very much. Have a great day, and I look forward to our next video tomorrow. God bless.